Many people are afraid of clowns who approach them in the circus or on the street. It would seem, why? Because they just want to make you laugh and cheer you up. But in foreign films and TV series, monsters are often hidden behind the clown's makeup, both literally and figuratively. Pennywise, Joker, and others, the list can go on and on. Art, the main character of the Horrifying franchise, is no exception. Although he seems like a funny guy, it is better to stay away from him. But what is known about Art? Is he a man or a demon? And when did he first appear on screen in his sinister role? Let's figure it out. Art was born from a fictitious situation. On an empty night bus, a clown scares a woman sitting next to him. He is intrusive, he irritates her with his horn and behaves aggressively. When the director created him, it was important for him to emphasize his memorable appearance. After all, as a counterweight to Art, there already existed at that time the creepy clown Pennywise from the novel by Stephen King. So now, instead of a talkative villain, the director made a mute clown who prefers pantomime to verbal interaction. Art looks like a clown dressed in a black and white suit. His face is painted white. His eyes and mouth are outlined in black. His eyebrows are drawn. The image is completed by a demonic hooked nose and eyes with black pupils. The clown often carries a black garbage bag with him, where he keeps various weapons. And you better not look into this bag. Art's style cannot be surpassed even by the most bloodthirsty criminal. Before the horror film, Terrifying, was released, Art managed to appear in the short films, The Ninth Circle, The Bringer of Terror, and the horror anthology film, All Hallows' Eve. In the film, Terrifying, the mute clown Art carried out a massacre in Miles County during the Halloween holidays. In the finale, he decides to shoot himself. But the attempt, although counted, was unsuccessful. It turns out that the clown Art is not a person at all, but, as it turns out later, a demonic entity with immortality. In the second part, Art was resurrected in the morgue, and a year after the massacre in the first part, he marred another Halloween. His main target was a girl named Sienna Shaw. When Sienna was little, her father Michael, a comic book author, created a warrior character for her. He even gave Sienna a sword. Unfortunately, Michael suffered from mental disorders, which is why he took his own life. For Halloween, Sienna created an outfit inspired by the heroine created by her father. Sienna's younger brother Jonathan showed his sister an old notebook of their father, in which he seemed to predict Art's attack on the inhabitants of Miles and the fact that Sienna would become the chosen one in the costume of the heroine, capable of stopping the evil. It turned out to be true. Sienna decapitated Art with the same, seemingly magical, sword. Only Sienna and Jonathan survived the massacre in the second part. In Terrifying 3, Art and Victoria, the heroine of the first part, who went crazy, teamed up and opened a new hunt 5 years later, this time on Christmas Eve. They had to wait so long, because Sienna was being treated in a mental hospital all this time. There is also a mystical explanation for Victoria's transition to Art's side. Jonathan conducted an investigation in Terrifying 2, and found out that Art and the little girl who went with him could be demons. Evil spirits need vessels to freely reside in the world of the living. Only those people who have committed atrocities can become them. It is also important for demons that the vessel suffers mental trauma and loses everything dear to him in life. Victoria lost her sister in the first part, her life was destroyed. In addition, she attacked a journalist, which made her an ideal candidate. Therefore, the demon moved from the clown girl to Victoria. This explains why there was no child in the third part. Sienna is a chosen one with angelic powers who can send demons to the next world. Somehow, her father managed to reveal the supernatural potential of his daughter. It is likely that the fourth part will explain how he did it. The demon in Victoria's body wanted to enslave Sienna and become even more powerful. To do this, he and Art needed to traumatize the girl. Sienna and Jonathan lost their mother Barbara in the second part. In the third, Art and Victoria took away everyone Sienna loved, her aunt, her husband, and her brother Jonathan. To finally break Sienna, Art and Victoria had to get rid of Sienna's cousin, Gabby. However, the girl managed to give Sienna a sword, and she dealt with Victoria in the same way as with Art in the second part. Sienna wounded Art, and he escaped. Gabby fell into the hellish portal formed by Victoria's blood, so in the fourth part, Sienna will go to save her. Art is the most terrible character in the history of the horror film genre. Having overtaken another victim, he is in no hurry to deal with her right away. He likes to torment and torture her for a long time. For him, this is a kind of show, after which applause is needed. When it seems that things cannot get any worse, Art begins to silently joke, make ironic gestures, grimace, which causes nervous laughter in many. Even if a person miraculously manages to escape, he will not be able to live as before. What he saw will leave a huge imprint, which can lead to treatment in a mental hospital. But getting away with stress is not so bad. You can also remain a cripple for the rest of your days. Art is mute, so he is forced to communicate with gestures and facial expressions. Accordingly, if he is wounded, he will only make a grimace of pain on his face. The Terrifying franchise is not perfect and rough. But it is also fresh and sincere, because it was filmed with maximum dedication. Unlike sterile Hollywood films, it evokes genuine emotions in viewers. Watching the audience's reaction during the screening, at what point do people laugh, exclaim, or even run away from the hall, is pure pleasure. Clown Art, played incomparably by Thornton, will definitely enter the pantheon of cult horror villains. More precisely, it has already entered. The fourth part of the franchise should please us on the screens in 2026, but, according to the director, it will be the last. We are all looking forward to the new antics of the clown mime who has intrigued us, who will definitely surprise us more than once. If you found it interesting, subscribe to our channel, like it, share this video with your friends and write in the comments what impressions you had watching the new film, Terrifying 3. And for those who haven't seen it yet, we wish you enjoyable viewing.